Good morning. Just going to get this started here. So I'm going to take my mask off, if that's okay.
Yep.
We're keeping a
Right.
distance apart, and these are all distance at the desk. So this is CCTS Training Centre, and these are here for basic, it's essential electrics. So it's broken into a few parts, and the wee part we're going to cover this morning is about a plug top exercise. But I have a wee bit of housekeeping to run through first of all. So first of all, my name is Jeff Harrison. I have an electrical background. I started from 1980 doing an electrical apprenticeship and came out of it, joined another company in Belfast, and then in 92 took over the company and then worked as a company till 2002, and I sold it into this group. So that's my connection with this company. CCTS is a training based organisation from a group of companies involved with gas, oil and electrical industry. So I retired in 2012, and then in 19 they asked would I come back and give them a help. So this is where we are now. So our day consists of usually you come in, have this wee bit of induction, we give you the code for the main entrance. So if anybody needs in and out door, then there's a main entrance code which is 1366. After that we'll talk about our class will get going, but we'll finish at 10:30 to 10:15 or 11:15, sorry, roughly for 15 minutes for a tea break. There is tea facilities of a vent machine in the hallway. Lunchtime is 1:45 to 1:30. We have the option of you can go out the gate and head down to a cafe at the corner, or you can drive out the gate right and head for a shopping centre. That's your. So we have no fire alarm tests being carried out today. So if the fire alarm does sound, we make our way out of the centre through the corridor into the car park, out of the car park, across the road, and stand on the grassy area, so we're well away from the building. We also have a no phone policy within the centre. So what we want you to do is either switch it to silent, or we check it again at tea time and lunchtime when we make it available. So that's our sort of induction part over. We'll finish at 4 o'clock is our normal day, and then on a Friday we finish a bit earlier just to let you away. We aim to try and get you ahead of traffic, so that's what we are always trying to help you with. So this is what's called a plug top exercise, and the way it's sort of come around is, if you've noticed all appliances, all equipment, what does it come with nowadays? It's what's called a molded plug.
Yeah.
But what we find is most people nowadays, they accept that there's just a plug on it. But what happens if the plug gets broke off? They're lost. I was actually at a house one time and it went as far as the cable got broken and they wondered why it didn't work because they tied it in a knot. And wondered why their plans didn't work.
Yeah.
So we are going to have a wee look at what's actually inside the moulded plug itself. Talk about the cables, talk about the wires, talk about the fuse. I'm going to show you a few from the past, in that there's a few older versions, and as to why we actually are looking at the type of plug we have today. So we'll show you first of all inside the plug. So when you remove the cover, we have parts to it. We have the fuse part, we have the live terminal, which is where the power is coming to. We have the neutral terminal, which is the return path for your circuit, and we have the earth terminal. Now the earth terminal is there to provide the safety to stop you being electrocuted, but not all equipment requires it. There's other special equipment out there that you would use in your house every day, and it doesn't need an earth. It doesn't mean it's not dangerous, it just means it's safer without the earth. So we'll go through the colours. And what colours would you expect to find in a plug? Would you expect?
Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. So where would you put the brown on to?
The live terminal.
Live terminal. Blue?
Blue, yep.
Yeah. Neutral terminal. And what colour would be the earth?
Yellow, green.
Green.
Yeah. And how would I know it is Earth? How do you know that that is the Earth?
It's identified and it's at the top. It's
That's it.
identified green and yellow.
Yeah. Only in Earth is allowed to be green and yellow. It can be nothing else. You're not allowed it for anything else. Then we have the terminations. We have the fuse. So one of the most important part inside it, then we have a fuse. So the fuse is the link between the mains power itself and the power leaving the plug. So if there's any fault, then it's the fuse's job to take control of it. When you go back into older plugs, like this for example, which is an old round pin plug, that's the issue it has. For years you would have bought a plug to the size of what you needed it. So you had a 2 amp plug, a 5 amp plug, and a 16 amp plug, but it didn't have a fuse protection. So they all got together in the late 1940s, early 50s and decided things need to change. So that's when the design of this, your modern day, still modern plug, came about. So there's various companies came up with different designs. There's a few of them still out there, but very, very rare. But this is what they settled on. So what we have here is a 3-pin plug. It's also made and manufactured to what's called a British standard. So that means that no matter who makes it, has to be made to the same standard as everyone else. What keeps it safe is the earth pin is longer than the rest. So it's the first one to connect, but it's also the last one to disconnect. Then we have a live and a neutral. And the main thing about those are they're insulated. So there's no danger of your fingers touching them as you withdraw the plug. And that's how you look out for the word Chinese specials. Because the danger is they don't come insulated. So you have to ensure you've got a proper British standard plug. What we're going to look for then is the fuse itself, the ratings and sizes of it, but also that the cable is secure within it. So within the part of the plug itself we have what's called the cable grip, which is to hold the flex into place. After that, we're going to look at now the fuses themselves to see what they come with. So fuses are, again, manufactured to a European or British standard. So what we have are BS1362. That's the size, the unique size of the fuse to it. So how many fuse types do you reckon we have? What can you think of?
3 and 13.
Yep.
3, 10, there's 10 amp, there's
Yep.
5 amp,
Yep,
13 amp.
that's it. How do I know it's a 13 amp fuse?
Oh.
Right, yep. How do I know it's a 3 amp fuse?
10.
Red.
Right. So your fuse also relates to what you're installing, what you're using it for. So if we have anything up to 700 watts of power, we need a 3 amp fuse. If we have anything up to a kilowatt of power, we're looking at a 5 amp fuse. And then anything above 1 kilowatt, we automatically use the size 13 amp. So what we'll do is we'll work out, we'll do a wee scenario of how do we get that information. But what we'll also look at is what type of appliance would be up to 700 watt? Where do you think?
A lamp.
Yep. Boiler in your house, actual boiler in your house. They're up to a kilowatt. Again, lamps, some heating appliances, some kettle, you can actually get a small little kettle. And then any appliance over a kilowatt, you're into heaters. Mostly heating. Anything that has a heating system, has an element to it, we're talking 13 amp. So what about the size of cable? It relates to it as well. So if you hold a piece of flex in your hand, you'll always find various pieces of equipment, different sizes. So the smaller the size of the flex, the less the current it's going to carry. So most flexes from 0.5 millimeter diameter will be 700 watts load. Anything to 1 mil, 1.5 mil diameter, you're going to be talking again up to over 700 watts. And then anything above that is going to be up to the 3 kilowatt. If a plug doesn't need replacing, then only a sleeve part needs to be fitted. Just have a look at some plugs, you can actually get the sleeve parts for them. So where we're going to look at is what else options. There's a couple of other options we have as still classed virtually as a plug, but we can actually go industrial. This is called a most people commando plug, but it's an industrial plug, weatherproof, great for outdoors. Heavy duty, so construction sites, caravan parks, marinas, they all rely on that sort of plug connection. The beauty and the safety of it is uniqueness. When I try to unplug it or plug it in, even the earth is insulated. I have no way of exposing myself to a live connection. The other option you have is to remove the plug completely and fit a connection unit. So it comes with a fuse. So what's do you reckon is the maximum fuse in that?
13.
Same as that.
Yeah.
That's it. These are designed for appliances as well. So your 13 amp fuse. But how do I know what size of fuse I want to take on? So we'll go with what's called a power triangle. So we'll give you a wee task. So we have a power triangle, and the theory is you have power, we have amps, and we have voltage. And we will work out, we'll have a wee scenario here, we'll do a wee quick test. So we have a 2000 watt kettle. So how much power is it going to need? And what size of fuse, and we're going to end up. So let's do a wee sort of working out. Let's start with the calculation. So how am I going to get to where how I need the load? So I have power. So if I divide the power, the 2000, by my voltage. So what's our standard UK voltage?
230.
230.
Yeah.
So 230 volts. 2000 divided by 230 volts comes out at.
8.6.
So that's my fuse. Can I get such a thing as a 8.69 or a 9 amp fuse? No. So I have to go up to 13 amp. So that's my load. So a lot of appliances, you might work it out and go, it's anything above, really anything above 5 amp
Yeah.
is still going to be classed as a 13 amp.
13.
Another part that a lot of people don't understand too, and some of it, you have a plug and you have a flex going into an appliance. The fuse in the plug is actually protecting the flex going into it. Most equipment has an internal fuse built in for its own protection, so we're there to protect it. So we're going to just finish up and go through a wee small question paper for me, and we'll work on that, and we'll also put together a wee plug and see how we terminate the flex. So I've left a few tools on the desk for each of you, and we're going to look at the part of how do we get from this, a stripped flex with the 3 connections, to a finished plug. So that's our wee task now. We're just going to finish off doing that.